Deep in the Atlantic Ocean, researchers from the Shark Institute embarked on a routine mission that would change everything they thought they knew about prehistoric predators. The submarine Perikiari descended into the abyss, its mechanical systems humming as technician Lisa monitored the equipment with unwavering focus and professional dedication. Without warning, something massive stirred in the depths below. The sonar readings exploded with activity as an enormous shadow rose from the ocean floor. The creature's sheer size disrupted the vessel's navigation systems. Lisa's final moments were marked by terror as the beast revealed itself. From the murky darkness, thousands of miles away, along the Argentine coast near Buenos Aires, fishermen had their own tales of a white phantom that haunted the shallow waters. The dockworkers whispered stories by firelight, speaking of Garilaos, a creature so immense it defied comprehension, lurking in the mudflats where no boat dared venture. Ancient warriors who once guarded the Sierra Mountains left warnings in their legends. Even the most experienced sailors trembled when discussing the white beast. Marine biologists noticed peculiar behavior among lobster colonies. They moved in synchronized patterns, as if responding to an invisible presence. Commanding the depths, the Australian coastline became ground zero for the most credible sightings. This ancient land held secrets buried in sedimentary layers spanning millions of years. Hidden within fossil beds of Victoria and Ottawa lay the truth: massive teeth from a creature that dominated prehistoric seas with absolute authority. These weren't ordinary shark teeth. Each one measured over 7 inches, dwarfing the teeth of modern great whites and suggesting a predator of unimaginable proportions. The word Megalodon translates to giant tooth, a fitting name for nature's most fearsome oceanic apex predator that ever existed on Earth. Scientists estimate this prehistoric monster reached lengths of 60 feet or more, with a bite force exceeding 40,000 pounds per square inch. For 20 million years, Megalodon ruled the oceans unchallenged. No creature dared challenge its supremacy in the ancient seas that covered our planet. Modern researchers in Buenos Aires began investigating reports that suggested something impossible, that Megalodon might still exist in Earth's unexplored ocean trenches. Near Port Lincoln, in southern Australia, commercial fishermen reported encounters with shadows too massive to be any known species of shark. The reports were consistent: a creature easily 50 feet long, moving with predatory grace through schools of snapper in the deep continental shelf waters. Its mass was so enormous that ocean satellite monitoring systems registered anomalies whenever the creature moved through electromagnetic detection grids in deep water. Ningaloo Reef in Western Australia became a hotspot for unexplained sightings. Divers reported seeing colossal shadows that vanished when approached too closely. The descriptions were maddeningly vague: something huge and fast, with details impossible to discern through the murky water, and the creature's incredible speed. Naval sonar equipment near Spanish military installations detected massive returns that defied classification. The readings suggested something larger than any known marine life. Guantanamo Base recorded similar signals, blips on radar suggesting great white-sized predators, but the signatures indicated something far more massive than possible. The most disturbing incident occurred at Yulong Lake. Marine biologists witnessed a 3-meter great white shark literally torn to pieces by an unseen attacker. The attack happened in seconds. One moment the shark was swimming normally. The next moment it was shredded like paper by something impossibly powerful. Tracking devices on the great white transmitted normal data until the moment of attack. Then the signals went haywire, suggesting electromagnetic interference from something massive. The final data burst revealed the attacker's approximate size larger than several adult great whites combined, a size that shouldn't exist in modern oceans. Great white sharks are apex predators with virtually no natural enemies. The fact that one was destroyed so effortlessly shocked the marine biology community. Tagged sharks in Australian waters began exhibiting bizarre behavior. Adult specimens went into panic mode in reef areas where they previously hunted with confidence. Their monitoring ships recorded final moments of sheer terror before signals terminated abruptly. Something was hunting the hunters in their own territory. Witness testimonies from experienced sailors and naval personnel all described the same phenomenon: an overwhelming sense of being watched by something colossal. These weren't novice observers, prone to exaggeration. These were professionals who spent their entire lives on the ocean and knew its inhabitants intimately. Yet their reports remained unverified. Every time investigative teams deployed to examine evidence, critical data would mysteriously disappear or become corrupted beyond analysis. The truth seemed deliberately obscured, as if the ocean itself was protecting its greatest secret from human discovery and scientific scrutiny. Marine cartographers noted that many of the sightings occurred in regions marked as unexplored on navigational charts. The deep trenches where sunlight never reaches. These abyssal zones remain largely unexplored, representing over 95% of the ocean's volume. What lives there remains a profound mystery to science. Could a population of Megalodon have retreated to these depths when surface temperatures changed millions of years ago, adapting to eternal darkness? The fossil record shows Megalodon vanished approximately 3 million years ago, but the deep ocean floor from that era remains largely unexamined. Deep-sea creatures previously thought extinct have been discovered alive in recent decades. The coelacanth fish proved extinction isn't always what it seems. If one extinct species can survive undetected, why not Megalodon? The ocean keeps its secrets well, revealing them only when it chooses. Australian coastal enterprises began acknowledging the possibility in their insurance policies. Liability clauses now mention large unidentified marine predators as potential hazards. Tourism operators near Port Lincoln installed additional safety measures. Shark cage diving tours now use reinforced steel bars, rated for forces exceeding normal specifications. The cages could theoretically withstand impacts from creatures far larger than great whites. Tour operators won't explicitly say why they upgraded their equipment. Commercial fishing fleets reported net damage consistent with something far more powerful than any catalogued shark species biting through industrial-grade steel cables. The bite radius on damaged equipment suggested a jaw span of nearly 6 feet, dimensions matching paleontological reconstructions of Megalodon. Dento structure exactly. Deep-sea cameras deployed by marine research institutions occasionally captured fleeting glimpses of something massive moving at the edge of their light range. The footage was always inconclusive, too dark, too brief, too degraded by water clarity to provide definitive proof of anything beyond reasonable doubt. Yet every marine biologist who viewed the recordings admitted the same thing: whatever was captured on film was extraordinarily large and moving unnaturally fast. Whale carcasses washing ashore displayed bite marks from serrated teeth far larger than any great white could produce, suggesting a super predator at work. Forensic analysis of the wounds revealed teeth spacing and bite force calculations that matched Megalodon perfectly. The evidence was becoming harder to dismiss. Marine parasitologists discovered unknown parasite species. In some specimens, parasites that only survive on extremely large hosts, living at great depths below surface. The parasite's anatomy suggested they evolved to attach to creatures with skin thickness far exceeding any known shark. Consistent with Megalodon's estimated dermal structure, acoustic monitoring stations detected low-frequency calls in the 13 to 25 Hz range, similar to whale songs, but with distinctly predatory rhythmic patterns. These calls traveled hundreds of miles through deep ocean channels, suggesting communication between multiple large entities across vast distances in coordinated hunting patterns. Sperm whales, which normally hunt at extreme depth, began avoiding certain trenches entirely. Their echolocation patterns showed clear signs of fear-based avoidance. Whatever inhabited those trenches was frightening enough to deter creatures that regularly battle giant squid and have few natural predators of their own. Submarine crews operating at extreme depths reported sonar contacts that appeared briefly before disappearing into deeper water at speeds that shouldn't be possible. The contacts were biological, not mechanical. Their size and speed defined classification within any known framework of marine biology or oceanographic science. One submarine commander, speaking anonymously, described seeing something through the periscope that made him question everything he knew about ocean life. A shadow passed beneath his vessel that took nearly 10 seconds to traverse the submarine's length. His submarine was over 300 feet long. Oceanographic research vessels using deep penetrating sonar mapped anomalies in trench systems, massive caves and caverns that could theoretically harbor large breeding populations. These caverns connect to the deep ocean through channels too narrow for submarines, but perfect for large marine predators seeking refuge from detection. The Santa Ana fishing scandal in Australia exposed something troubling. Fishermen deliberately suppressing information about encounters to protect their lucrative fishing territories. They feared that confirmed Megalodon sightings would lead to fishing bans, destroying generations of family businesses that depended on these productive waters. The economic pressure created a conspiracy of silence. Captains would share warnings privately, but never report officially what they encountered in deep water. Biologists who publicly supported the Megalodon survival theory faced ridicule from academic peers. Tenure was denied. Research funding disappeared. Careers were systematically destroyed. The scientific establishment resisted the evidence, clinging to the comfortable narrative that Megalodon went extinct precisely 3.6 million years ago without exception. Yet private research continued in secret. Wealthy individuals funded expeditions using personal resources, seeking what official science refused to acknowledge might exist. Advanced submersibles descended into trenches never before explored by humans. Their cameras captured wonders and terrors in equal measure at crushing depths. At 6,000 feet, pressure becomes lethal to humans without protection. At this depth, they found something that changed everything they believed. A feeding ground. Whale bones covering the ocean floor in patterns, suggesting regular predation by something that stripped every ounce of flesh efficiently. The bones were recent, less than 3 years old based on decomposition rates, at this depth and temperature. Something was actively hunting here. Then they saw it, a shadow at the edge of their lights, moving with deliberate purpose toward the submersible with terrifying curiosity. The crew initiated emergency ascent procedures. As they rose rapidly, they glimpsed something massive beneath them, far larger than their 12-foot submersible. The footage exists. Multiple copies were made and distributed before the original mysteriously vanished from secure storage at the research facility. Anonymous sources leaked portions online. Within hours, they were removed. Copyright claims from unknown entities flagged the content across all platforms. But the internet never forgets. Fragments remain, shared through encrypted channels by those who believe the public deserves to know the truth. Dental experts who examined high-resolution images of the creature confirmed tooth structure consistent with Megalodon. The serrations were unmistakable and diagnostic. Environmental DNA sampling from deep ocean water detected genetic material that partially matched Megalodon fossils. The science was sound. The results were peer-reviewed. Yet, mainstream scientific journals refused publication. Reviewers called the findings impossible and extraordinary claims requiring extraordinary evidence despite solid methodology. A few papers that did publish faced immediate retraction pressure. Universities threatened to revoke funding if controversial Megalodon research continued under their names. Public interest remained intense despite official dismissals. Documentaries exploring the possibility drew massive viewership, while skeptical scientific programming languished and watched. The ocean covers 71% of Earth's surface. Humans have explored barely 5% of it. The remaining depths remain utterly unknown territory. More humans have walked on the moon than have descended to the deepest ocean trenches. The Mariana Trench could hide entire mountain ranges. In such vastness, could a population of apex predators survive undetected? Every marine biologist privately admits the answer is absolutely yes. The question isn't whether Megalodon could survive. The question is whether humanity is ready to acknowledge we aren't the ocean's ultimate authority. Every year brings new discoveries of supposedly extinct species living in remote areas. The ocean's deepest regions offer perfect refuge for ancient survivors. Commercial interests and scientific egos have aligned against the truth. Admitting Megalodon's existence would require rewriting textbooks and acknowledging decades of wrong assumptions. But the evidence continues mounting. Each new sighting, each unexplained disappearance, each mysterious sonar contact adds weight to the growing body of testimony. Somewhere in the eternal darkness of the deep ocean trenches, the most fearsome predator ever to exist may still patrol ancient hunting grounds. The Megalodon may not be extinct. It may simply be waiting in the abyss, an apex predator that never needed to leave its perfect domain.